This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Thank you for connecting with us here on this program whilst we connect with Professor Sultan Ismail. He's head of the biotechnology department at the New College here in Chennai. He's what is called a soil ecologist, and believe it or not, he's a specialist in earthworms. But let's find out what really makes him tick. Thank you so much. Earthworms, what a strange thing to be actually involved with, because you're known around the world for your earthworm work.
Earthworms are something very beautiful things, like they're lovely. In fact, many people feel that they are crawlies and creepies and things like that.
Yes, you're right.
Maybe you're also in the same group, but I would rather call them as dead hard optimists.
Why?
Because, if you're going to sit in the soil and when you do gardening and we have a good bone in our finger, and if you start digging a hole in the soil, and maybe in about 5 to 10 minutes, you feel that it's painful. Whereas these small creatures, without any bones in them, keep on burrowing into the soil, plowing the soil, and have been doing it over millions of years. And that's the reason as children, I think, we studied in schools,
Yes.
Friends of the Farmers. But when we go into our own history, wonderful, we have Manonmaniyan Sundaranath, the Tamil poet, and he writes lovely, Yammannayanum Nalmannakkum Nankurpuruve, which means whatever may be the type of soil, the earthworms can convert it into good soil.
Right. So when you talk about all your work being involved with earthworms, what does it actually mean you're doing?
Well, we have been doing several things, but I would like to tell how beautiful things happen. I'm basically a fishery biologist by my post-graduation, but I did my marine biology for my MPhil. And after that, I do not know, because certain circumstances did not make me to proceed further in the same field because of my health and things. And I was seated in my room, a student comes to me, disheartened, saying, sir, I couldn't get a seat in the university for my MPhil, but I would like to do research. Can you please help me? Now, it's in a college, and I'm seated in my room. I had completed my MPhil, so I had to take the permission of my head of the department. I went to his room and said, Professor, that he wants to do research. Can I help him? He said, do whatever you want. Now, why I'm trying to tell you this is let the professors today know that this is the way people start encouraging others. He was Professor Mohideen, who also became the principal of the college. Then I came back to the room, I saw a paper lying on the floor, and that was a communication saying that there's going to be a conference on behavior, animal behavior. So I asked this boy, would you like to do something on animal behavior? He said, he later became a professor in veterinary college, Dr. Kalimur Rahman. Now he said, yes sir, I would like to do something. Then the attendant was passing by, it was a holiday. I called him and said, do you have any live specimens? Because we needed live specimens for behavior sciences. And he said, sir, we have earthworms.
Oh, that's how it started?
It's how it all started.
Really?
So I strongly believe that universe conspires, Paulo Coelho, right? And he threw it on my lap and said, that start. Now when I have the worms, I have to maintain them live. If I have to maintain them live, I have to culture them. If I have to culture them, I should devise a method to culture them, because they are supposed to be living in the soil. And we are trying various methods and we are not able to retain them. They're not happy.
No, but what is the, okay, so you have this, these earthworms sitting here on your table. So what are you trying to do with them? What happens next?
Great, good. Now, there are three aspects of this. One, there's enough garbage which is being generated in the city, right? Now, this garbage, to a large extent, there's organic, biodegradable, beautiful garbage. And one
beautiful
thing is,
garbage?
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm telling beautiful is because it is not garbage, it is a resource.
Okay.
Now, if I'm going to scribble on paper, sheets of paper, and throw it away, for me it's a refuse. If you have a recycling factory for paper, for you it's a resource. So how you look at a matter is resource. And I take this opportunity that we probably recommend the governments and the municipalities to rename their own waste management centers as resource management centers. Make it positive.
Right. I'm going to come to that in a minute, the government angle in all this. But tell me about waste management per se, because this is one of your special areas.
Yes. Now, at homes, to a large extent, much of the waste that is being generated is not in huge quantity, because today's cost of living and the vegetables which come home, at the most, every household with about 4 people in it generate about 150 to 200 grams of vegetable waste. Clip it up, put it in a container, with little bit of arrangements. You have a plastic old bucket or a crate lying over there. Put some holes in it so that water doesn't retain. A few pebbles or black stone or blue metal. And then little sand and put some organic matter, decomposed leaves. In that you introduce the earthworms. They can get earthworms either from their own soils or they can take it from us if they are doing it for the household. And then you put those worms, like when a visitor first comes, you have to give them some good food. So initially give them little bit of dried cow dung. It's a cow dung is called as cow dung cake.
But in this day and age, sir, where do I go in a city like this? I mean, it's a lofty idea, but you tell me, where am I going to go to get basic cow dung from?
Cow dung. In case you don't get cow dung, then you can use good soil, little bit of soil. If you don't get good soil, you can use decomposed litter. In case you don't have decomposed litter,
yes,
real sour curd.
That's interesting now.
Because curd, not yogurt.
Yes.
Now this is something very good because curd is very good because it has streptococcus and lactobacilli in it. Little bit of curd diluted in water, no salt, no sugar. Just sprinkle on it and the decomposition starts.
Right.
And then the worms are able to get microorganisms because invariably earthworms consume more microorganisms along with the food. So along with this litter, the microorganisms multiply with the curd being sprinkled, starts decomposing and the worms start eating and they produce their waste, which is castings. And these castings together are excellent fertilizers.
Right. But what am I going to do with fertilizer in the middle of the city?
That's a good question. Excellent question. Many people feel that, like if there's a plant or a tree, then it should have a big garden, the soil and all those things. This ordinary plant, the arsamaram, which they call it as, have you seen them growing on the buildings?
Yeah.
How much soil is there?
Not very much, I'm sure.
Then if that such a big tree can grow without a soil, how much soil do you expect for a small plant? Now, what we have been trying to encourage many people is because today our food and nutrition quality is going down. Now, many people recommend, I think, we recommend that we must have enough amount of green or greenery or spinach or sabzi or whatever it is, kirai. And for this, you can have this methi, vendium and fenugreek. And this you sprinkle it on a small tray, like you have a tea serving tray with a little bit of compost on it, sprinkle them and you have within 10 days, you have lovely vendya kirai or greens which you can harvest and eat.
So you're saying here that you don't necessarily need this big mansion of a house with a big garden, etc., to be actually producing something that's really good for you.
You got the point, yes. If you have a will, there is a way. And even in a balcony, you can grow vegetables. And we have a concept called as vertical gardening. Now, this is very important for you. I think you can also try it in your own flat apartment. You have this PVC pipes, which is waste pipes which they use for water and other things.
True.
If you have a 2-inch or a 4-inch dia pipe, then you take a pipe which is about 4 feet tall, 4 to 4.5 feet tall. Fill it up with soil and compost mixed together, manure, put it up into that. So the whole pipe now is filled up with it. Make it stand on something which will hold it in one place. Drill holes at regular intervals around it and put seeds into it. And you get plants coming everywhere. You can even grow vegetables in it. What I mean to say is even okra can be grown, lady's finger can be grown, and you can even grow tomatoes in it.
Right. So are you saying here that you don't necessarily have to have green fingers, you don't necessarily need to be a gardener to be doing all of this stuff? A lot of practical things are being told to me here.
Excellent. Now, many people have this feeling that only some people will be capable of growing things.
That's
it's
right.
Absolutely no. You speak to them with kindness, they respond.
You don't believe that, do you?
I do believe in it.
Really? You talk to your plants?
I do talk to my plants.
And they respond?
And they have responded. I have had very interesting experiences in life.
Really? Yeah. Now, you've been doing this for a long time. Now, let me go back to your earthworms now. Right here in Chennai city, tell me, what kind of interest are you seeing in your little earthworms?
Enormous.
Truly?
Truly enormous. I'm indebted to the citizens of Chennai and my country because we started this work in 1978. In fact, some of my own colleagues in the department used to call me as a fool or a stupid for having working with them and putting my hands into garbage.
Little earthworms, yes.
Yeah. But thanks to the worms and thanks to the people of our great nation who started understanding the potential of the earthworms, it even found its way into textbooks. And in fact, children started reading my work in the textbooks.
Right.
Till the matriculation and even the state board. And
well, we're going to take a very short break and you get right back here with us and we're going to continue talking about What we look at is little insignificant creatures, earthworms, so don't go anywhere.